If you guys are looking for any cheap and reliable coins, check out MMOPO.com. Use the code PINGU at checkout to get 8% off. You guys, welcome to a brand new career mode on Next Generation. We are on PlayStation 5 for my very first career mode, and I thought the project of bringing Bolton Wanderers back to the Premier League was just too good not to do. And there was the choices of Barrow and Bradford, who were both, similar situations. Barrow obviously brand new to the Football League, but Bradford obviously used to be absolutely brilliant back in the day as well. But I think that Bolton team with Big Sam was, it's quite close to my heart, that team that they did have with like Kevin Davies up front, Kevin Nolan, JJ Okocha. There were so many good players in that team, and even like a little bit further on they had like Gary Cahill and Nicholas Anelka. So it's a brilliant project, and I think it's a club that deserves to be back in the Premier League. So that's what we're going to aim to do with this Bolton team. It's obviously going to take us, at least 4 seasons, maybe even 5 seasons on the career mode, so we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, here's the team that they do have. It's not terrible, to be frankly honest. It's actually quite decent for League 2. Sarcevic and Doyle, very good players in this division. I'm not too sure if there's anyone down in the bench. We've got a 64 rated goalkeeper here, and Isgrove. Isgrove used to play for Southampton, I'm pretty sure, with very good pace stats and dribbling. 75 agility and 81 balance in League 2 is actually ridiculous. But we'd have to change formation to kind of accommodate him if we were going to put him in. We also have Politic here. I think that's how you say his name anyway. 79 pace as well, can play out wide. I kind of like the idea of playing a different formation in this career mode, so like a 5 at the back with the wing backs, and they do have quite a few. They've got Jones here. I'm not 100% sure who has good potential and stuff like that, so I guess we'll put in Jones for the time being since he has 5 ratings higher. But yeah, I think like changing maybe formation so that we've got wingers. I don't know why he's not. Oh, it's because it's a CDM, isn't it? That's why. Just pop him back a little bit, do the little position cheat. Yeah, we're on Next Gen, so it'll make the career mode a little bit different. Obviously, I can look at formations in a bit, and I've added a few players to the shortlist that we could potentially look to sign throughout the journey of this career mode. So we've got Will Jaskalainen here. Obviously, his dad, Yuski Jaskalainen, was absolutely brilliant for Bolton back in the day, so I think bringing his son to the club would be a really nice thing. I'm not too sure if he played at Bolton, like he came through the academy and now he's at Crewe. Yeah, I think he'd be a nice, brilliant player to bring to the club, and hopefully has a good potential. Alex Iwobi's one here that obviously we won't be able to sign this season, but in like season 2 or 3, when we've got a few million. Obviously the nephew of JJ Okocha was an absolute legend at Bolton, so I think it'd be nice to bring him to the club. Gary Cahill obviously used to play here. Maybe we could get him on a pre-contract when we're in like the Championship, but obviously at 34 years old we'll have to wait and see whether he holds up and he's still playing then. We do have Rob Holding here, obviously quite a recent one actually. I think it was when they were in the Championship. Rob Holding was sold to Arsenal. Again, would be nice to bring him back to the club. Same with Lee Chung Yong. He was actually a part of that, Kevin Davis and Kevin Nolan kind of team back in the day, but is 31, so we'll have to monitor how he gets on. And one that just for me, this one it's Chris Martin. And if we can bring Chris Martin to Bolton, then great. Just because I didn't get the chance to do it in the Derby career mode, even though I wanted to. He's a brilliant striker. If we go into League 1 next season, he'd be a really good choice. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below any signings that we can potentially make. We have got 1.5 million and 20k in wages, which is actually quite a bit of money. It may not look a lot, but for League 2, that is actually a pretty good bit of money there. And we've got, quite a few players at the club. I think we've got a good squad. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with Isgrove and Politic. Both of them look decent, the good ratings. It's just whether we can get them into the starting 11 or not, unless I go to like a 5-2-3. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, where we've got wingers, but it would mean dropping a central midfielder, of course, or maybe a 4-5-1, 5-4-1, sorry. So I think straight away doing something like this makes a lot of sense. Going to a 5-2-3 because we have got two very good wingers, and obviously we want to get those in the team. Now that we have the option of development plans, we can obviously move players' positions, and yeah, there's a few decent players in this squad. If we just compare it by rating, you know, generally speaking, as long as you've got a player over like 63 rated in League 2, they're deemed good. So we've got a good handful here of players that are definitely going to help us in this season. Message here from Sarcevic then, obviously our captain at the club, and yeah, he's going to be very important for this season. Obviously got Plymouth promoted last year in real life, so you know, having someone like that in the team really does help out. I'm just waiting to see what our scout reports do say. We do have an early offer here for one of our players. It shows how early I've started the career mode. There's literally all the messages. So it's Liam Edwards for Mickey Dimitrou. He is 30 years old, but he is 63 rated, so that's 5 ratings higher. But I just, because we're so early on in the career mode, I don't want to, you know, get rid of a player that I haven't really tried yet. And it's not exactly that great of a deal. I know Mickey does look quite decent, but I think for the time being I'm going to reject this offer. And then said that then I could basically assess the squad properly. I do need to change all the sliders though. I will do that. Probably do that now, to be honest. Just to make sure they're all set up and ready. We're probably going to do 4-minute halves. That way we can, you know, get through the games quickly. There's going to be a lot of games in League 2 with 24 teams in the division. So we need to put shot error down to 30. Same with pass error. It's going to be very interesting to see how the difficulty does work on next gen as well. Whether it is different or not. We'll go for 65 for the time being, marking up to 60. So into our first pre-season game. I'm tempted to play, but I think I'd rather just simulate through pre-season, as it's kind of, you know, kind of pointless to me, and we've won the game anyway against Lübeck. I'm not too sure where I'm assuming they're a Bundesliga 3 team or something, but we only get $1 million prize money for winning the tournament, so we'll have to wait and see how we do. We do have an offer here for Matthew Alexander. He is an 18-year-old goalkeeper, and he's 55 rated. So it's one of those where goalkeepers are quite easily replaceable, and if we can get some money, then great. It does seem to load much faster on next gen into these menus, so that's nice to see. Obviously, graphically, just looks much better. I don't think there's anything new though in terms of the negotiations. We will go up to 300,000. Hopefully they do accept that, and yeah, you know, for a goalkeeper that, you know, as long as I've got 2 goalkeepers at the club, a third isn't really that important, and there we go, they do accept that, so that's good to see. But there's so many goalkeepers on the game that we could probably get for that money, and they have like a 75 potential, so I'm not too concerned, even if this guy's very good indeed. I haven't actually checked the kits for Bolton, so let me just quickly have a look at those. We do have quite a nice home kit actually. I do like the blue shoulders that they do have. Not too sure about the Home Bargains logo, but yeah, it's a decent home and away kit, so that's nice to see, of course. There we go, we do sell Alexander for 300,000, so that gives us an extra 200,000 to our transfer budget. Obviously I'm going to wait for your guys' responses, and we're going to wait for some scout reports to come back for the players that I have added. Might be tempted to sign Will Jaskalainen, just because he is obviously one of those that we can develop over the next few seasons. Ronan Darcy here, I'm pretty sure this guy's decent. I don't know why I remember the name, so I'm going to reject the offer, keep him here for the time being, and hopefully can grow. We do have the final group game against Rochdale, I think, who are also in League 1 or League 2, and we have won the game 1-0, so that's good to see. We are getting a bit of money for doing the pre-season tournament, and yeah, obviously all that money can go towards signings. So we have got a few scout reports here. Now I've added Bobby Duncan from Derby, a player that I didn't get to use in the Derby career mode just because of his him being too low rated to use at a championship club, but in League 2 he'd be brilliant. So let's have a look and see what he looks like on the transfer hub. Unfortunately we haven't got Will Jaskalainen yet. As long as he's, you know, around 61 to 69 rated, I'd definitely bring him into the club. But Lee Chung Yong at 73 rated is pretty decent. Obviously we won't be able to sign him this season because we're such low league. Obviously he doesn't want to join this division. yeah, Bobby Duncan has only just joined Derby on the game, so we'll have to wait at least until either January or next season. But, at like 60 rated with a very good potential, not a bad shout. We've also got Jordan Brown, Lee Buchanan, and Morgan Whittaker. I'm not too sure if Buchanan's seen as a realistic one, because in real life, he's pretty much starting for Derby at the minute, so would he realistically drop down 2 divisions? Probably not, but, I thought I'd just add them anyway. They're about 60-ish rated, and would fit into the squad quite well. So yeah, I'll probably wait for signings for your guys' responses, see what you suggest, and we'll get some scout reports on those. We'll just get through pre-season in this episode. I will make a few changes due to fitness and make the team a bit fresher. So 18-60 Munich do win the game on penalties, unfortunately, so that does mean we are knocked out of the competition, I think, in the semi-final, so it'll give us like a good, probably 500,000 added to, there we go, 405,000. So, all in all, now we do have 2.5 million, which is a lot of money in League 2. I'm not going to lie, that is a high amount of money for a team that, essentially already have a pretty good squad, only just got relegated to League 2, of course, in real life, after last season. So, yeah, it's a similar situation to what Wigan are in at the minute. If we did another career mode on FIFA 22, it might be a Wigan career mode, because obviously they're not doing too well because of the points deduction. But all in all, I think the squad is actually quite solid, so I don't mind investing. Maybe like a Morgan Whittaker for that left-hand side. I think he'd be a good option there. I think all in all, the squad is actually quite good. I don't think there's a need for major changes. But I'll get your guys' responses, see what you think should be added to the squad. Obviously, we'll get the scout reports back for all the players. But yeah, Will Jääskeläinen, I think, is one that I might be tempted to do in this episode, depending on what his rating is. And we've literally just got the scout report now. So he is 64 rated, which is what our current goalkeeper is. And he's 21, so I assume his rating should go up to about 75, maybe 80 if we're lucky. So I might be tempted to bring him in now, to be honest. Obviously, as I said, Lee Buchanan's about 63 rated, Morgan Whittaker 60 rated, and Jordan Brown 57. So, in terms of players of the calibre of what we've already got at this club, I think the players that I've added to the shortlist here are quite realistic. Obviously, I added those Premier League ones just because of the connection to Bolton. So yeah, Rob Holding has gone to Monaco for about 12 million, so quite a big move for him. And as I said, these, Iwobi, Cahill, Holding, and Lee Chong-yong won't be signed until like season 2, maybe season 3 or 4. They're literally there just because of their connections to the club. But yeah, I think goalkeeper's one of those. At the minute, we've got, I think it's Matt Gilks, the former Burnley goalkeeper, I think it is. The issue with him is he's 38, so he's probably going to go down in stats. So I think to replace him with Will Jääskeläinen, who's the same rating, but only 21, I think that's kind of a no-brainer, because we can, use this player for the next 2 or 3 seasons at least. So yeah, let's go into negotiations for Will Jääskeläinen, and it'd be nice to bring him to the club. Obviously, I'm not too sure if he actually came through the Bolton Academy, since his dad did play here for many years. So it is quite a big transfer, if it is around the current value that he is at. I'm not too sure if Crewe are in League 1 or League 2, I'm not going to lie. I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's gone up slightly. Because we're doing such a long career mode, I am tempted to remove the sell-on clause, because, by the time, I don't know, it's one of those where it's nice to have the sell-on clause in there. I guess if we can keep the sell-on clause but keep it at 1 million, I'll accept that. I've gone to 50,000. If we can maybe just knock that down to 10%. It's probably one that I won't sell anyway, but obviously it's nice just to have that option. And I think at that point I'm pretty happy, 50,000 plus a 13% sell-on clause over his value. Yeah, we'll accept that, and hopefully bring him into the club. So, as I said, it's just nice to bring somebody into the club, and having Jääskeläinen at Bolton makes a lot of sense. So let's go into negotiations now, see what his wages are. I must say, you can really tell the difference in graphics between old gen and new gen. I'm not too sure if you guys will see it as well, but obviously because I'm looking at 4K, unfortunately I can't upload it in 4K because I don't actually have the I don't have the HD Elgato. I've got literally the original Elgato that only does up to 1080p, so I'm not too sure if I can really get 4K in any way, shape or form. But yeah, this seems to be going quite well. We've got Crucial 4-year contract, and it's now down to the wages, which are, you know, they're cheap. They're very, very cheap wages, so I'm just going to remove the bonus. So I did do a bit of Googling with our new signing, which is the first of the career mode, and he did actually come through the Bolton Academy, but hasn't actually played for Bolton, but he was born in Bolton, so it's a local lad, and obviously he does represent Finland, and yeah, I think it's a no-brainer, that one. I think it was a really good signing for the future of the club, and a nice one in terms of the, you know, just bringing in a player that used to have a very strong connection to the club with his father. So we'll give him the number one, since he will be literally the number one goalkeeper for the next 2 or 3 seasons. We'll have to wait and see how he does develop, of course. And speaking of development, we will go through development plans, and as you can see, if we convert him to a goalkeeper growth, it only takes 10 weeks to go to 65. So that's essentially what I do with these. You basically look through, and as you can see, because this goalkeeper's 38, he is going to go down to a 63 in 1 week's time. Doesn't really matter what development plan is, so we'll leave him there. We'll go for sweeper keeper on this guy, and it'll give me a good understanding of who's going to grow and who's not going to grow by the development plan, so it's quite a good thing to look through. So I've just about gone through all the development plans, and as you can see, if we just go through all of our strikers at the club, we've got Doyle at 32, Gahua, we're going to go for that, Arthur, going to call him Arthur. All of the strikers are basically over 28, which means they won't develop any higher in rating. You know, there might be the odd one here and there, but nothing major in terms of growth. So I think a young striker is definitely what we should probably look at as a signing. And obviously I've got Bobby Duncan and Morgan Whittaker there on the current transfer hub, but obviously I'll wait for your guys' responses on any further signings. Won't be able to sign Bobby Duncan anyway this window, so it's really up to Morgan Whittaker, who can actually play it out wide as well, which is obviously a nice option. Pretty good, like, pace and dribbling stats for a 19-year-old, of course. You know, Lee Buchanan's one that I'm tempted to do, because if we're playing this 5 at the back system, he can play either left back, you know, left wing back, or even at centre back. So I think he'd be a brilliant one to have. Same with Jordan Brown, you know, really versatile and good potential. But yeah, there's, you know, we've got about 2 million, I think, if you really put the budget where it should be, because essentially, if we look at the wages of players that are in this division, I think the highest one is about 2k. You know, like 2, maybe 3k, or we've got 5k here for Doyle. You know, wages aren't that much of a big deal. So I think, you know, we've got the option to sign at least 3 or 4 really, really good players like Jaskalainen, who will obviously grow by a few ratings. But yeah, let me know if you are a Bolton fan. Let me know any players that do have good potentials. I might have a look at FIFA anyway, just to see what they are. But you know, it's one of those with the dynamic potentials. There might be a player that I'm not currently having in the first team that we should probably look at. So one thing I just noticed is Baptiste does have 34 stamina, which means basically you can only play about a half of football with him. And I don't know why EA do this, because these players clearly do play, you know, like 90 minutes for the club, but I just don't think I'll be able to use him in this career mode, so I might just transfer list him, to be frankly honest. There is a few players that I might look to transfer list, but for the time being, while the squad is, well, it's to be honest, I think it's about the right size. And obviously once we make 1 or 2 more signings with the money that we do have, you know, it'll be a pretty solid squad. So I think all in all, I'm pretty happy with this team. For the time being, obviously we'll get some suggestions from you guys to see what we should bring into the club. Obviously we've only got about just under 2 million, we'll call it 1.5 million. And yeah, I really can't wait to get going in this League 2 career mode, you know, it's a brilliant division. You know, 7 potential promoted teams. I'm not too sure why it doesn't divide, because the top 2 go, or is it the top 3? It's different, isn't it? To the, yeah, it's top 3. Top 3 get promoted automatically, and then there's another one from the playoffs of 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think that's how it works anyway. Yeah, it's a really nice division. So we must have signed Yaskalen from Crew, who are in League 1. So he has technically dropped down a league, but yeah, you know, we'll try our best with the realism of this career mode. We have got a very high offer rate, actually. Maybe this guy's good. If he's getting offers of like $500,000 for him, maybe we should be using this Liam Edwards guy. He's 23 with a 58 rated at the minute, so yeah, I'm not too sure. You know, that's quite a bit of money, $500,000 for one of our players. If we go onto the squad hub and have a look at what current strikers we have, because obviously that's a position that we kind of have a lot of similar players with. I wonder if they've fixed it yet. No, they haven't. They haven't fixed the sort option. Still doesn't work on next gen, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we've got 4 strikers here at the minute, and since we're playing a 1-striker formation, it might be a case of getting rid of one. You know, a couple of grand in wages and a couple of 100,000 we could make from selling them. I do like the fact that Nathan Delfonso and Arthur does have a secondary position, so we can play them out wide as well as down the middle. So I think the one that we would probably sell is this Sean Miller guy. So I guess we'll transfer list him. You know, we've got plenty of strikers at the club at the minute. To be like, all in all, I think the size of the squad is actually quite good. We've got 3 right wing backs. We've put Jones in for the time being since he is the highest rated. But you know, it might be a case of this Peter guy, Kioso. I guess we'll go with that. He might be better than Jones. Hickman might be better. I simply don't know, because I've not actually checked the potentials of some of these players. So let me know in the comment section down below if there are any players that we should be using that I don't have the current starting 11. So we'll go into the first game of the season. So our first game is against Warsaw away from home. Then we've got Mansfield, and then we've got a interesting game which I can't remember what is the competition. It's like the EFL Trophy, isn't it? It's only for League 1 and League 2 teams, I'm pretty sure. So let me just quickly check that. Yeah, EFL Trophy. So it's kind of like, maybe this is something else. Is that another competition? It must be the Carabao Cup then, that we have Charlton. Yeah, it is, right. So completely confused with the two. So the EFL Trophy is a bit of a different thing as well, where you have, it's almost like the Champions League but for League 1 and League 2 teams, I think. So we're in a group with Oxford and Crawley, who are obviously Oxford are League 1 and Crawley and Bolton are down in League 2. So yeah, it's a new thing and something I haven't actually done a League 2 career mode in quite a while. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see how we do. So yeah, I think we'll wrap up this episode here. Make sure you do leave some suggestions down below on any signings that we should be making. Obviously, players with, you know, ideally I don't want to sign any player that's over like 23, because the length of this career mode means I'll need players for, you know, seasons and seasons. One thing I've not actually considered is looking at the free agents, and maybe I should have done that sooner, because now that I've waited about a month, there might not be any. I'll have a quick look just to finish off this episode. I think if we do it by nationality, that tends to ease it up, so I can find players that are actually good. But unfortunately, there's no English ones, so maybe there isn't actually anything on the free agents. I think usually the first season doesn't really have anything. There is Carl Lafferty here, who's not a bad League 2 striker, so we'll add him to the short list, but I'd rather not sign players that are old. I'd rather go for younger players that we can use for multiple seasons. But I think that's about it. There's not really that much on the free agents for the first season, but obviously it's something we can look at the end of this season on pre-contracts and stuff like that. But I think all in all, there's not really anything on the free agents. So yeah, I thought I'd just quickly check that to end off this episode. So yeah, make sure you do Leave some suggestions down below on any signs that we should be making. Leave a like if you did enjoy the first episode, and see you soon. Bye.